thanks for your talk today.
Yeah.
Can you give us a recap of your concept of misfits and what that means for everyone who's in design or trying to get into the field that you're in?
Yeah. So the idea of misfits is just that I think the most interesting challenges that we have to work on today are ones that are kind of in between existing categories, or that include a lot of categories. And so people who themselves don't only fit into a single category, but can kind of like work across a lot of different areas, right, are going to be the people who are going to be able to solve those kinds of big challenges. Right. And so I think, in design, what we're seeing is that the traditional boundaries between hardware and software and services are all getting erased. Yeah. And so anybody going into design, I think, should be thinking about how do they work across all of those different fields.
And what skill sets do you think they specifically need to, I guess, work in the new century of this kind of misfit?
I mean, they need all the traditional skills, right? Being able to think about concepts and illustration and tell stories. But there's the newer skills anyway, around being able to do user research and observe people, and then also be able to think at a systems level, be able to sort of understand what's the bigger picture that you're operating in, and how do you sort of make that work at the design level.
And over the next 10 years, what are the big problems that you think we need to solve through design or other kind of things like that?
Well, I mean, there's so many challenges, right? As I talked about, it's like the environment and poverty and healthcare. There's so many different things, and I don't think design is certainly not the answer by itself to all of those. Right? That would be ridiculous. But I think there's this sort of famous phrase in the US of think global, act local, right? And I think that's kind of what designers need to do too. Right? It's like it's very difficult to think about how to solve the entire thing, right? But you can be doing some things at your own level and in your individual work, and I think that's still beneficial. Yeah.
And you also talk about taking things for granted. What do you, what have you personally taken for granted that perhaps you don't now, or I don't know, things have changed?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Aside from my sweater. I mean, I think what I tend to find is that on any new project that I'm working on, there's always a lot of unlearning that I have to do. There's always assumptions that I bring, some of which are conscious and some of which are unconscious. And so it's often a question of just being able to recognize that I do have assumptions, right? And be able to articulate those and then see if those are actually true or not when I start talking to other people. And because I get to work across so many diverse different fields, right? There's some areas where I know absolutely nothing going in, and then there's others where I have a lot of assumptions, and I have to be very careful that I'm not letting those guide too much what I need to do.
Okay, and finally, you talk about moonshots, or like literally, would you like to go to the moon someday?
Oh, I'd love to go to the moon.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen in my lifetime, unfortunately, but no, I mean, even if I just got up into orbit, right? Somebody gave me a ticket on the space shuttle.
Yeah, are you into Richard Branson's vision of space tourism? And
I mean, I think it's really interesting, and I think that I don't think it's going to be a very mainstream activity like flight is anytime soon. But that's where things will go.
Okay,
it's going to take a while.
Well, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
Okay.